You have slain an enemy.
What up, humans? Kurumi here, and welcome to the Mobile Legends Bootcamp. In this video, we are going to talk about the fighter, Cho. Cho has a good set of area of effect, crowd control, and blink skills. Our kung fu boy, Cho, is a fighter hero. I consider Cho as a mobile crowd control fighter, since his skills lets him damage and knock up enemies while dashing forward. Not only that, his ultimate skill knocks back an enemy, making the target immobilized for a few moments while receiving his furious kicks. Now, let me share some tips and tricks on how to use Cho based on my experience. I will also teach you some combos and techniques on the latter part of this bootcamp. But before that, let me explain his skills one by one for further understanding. Cho's passive. Only fast buff Cho's next basic attack after he moves for 8 yards long. After moving for 8 yards, his next basic attack will deal 200% of physical damage to enemies. His fist will have a burning effect to let you know that his next basic attack is buffed. Unfortunately, this buffed damage can't be a critical hit. The buffed attack will also slow down the target for a short period. To know more about the exact distance equivalence of 8 yards in-game, stay tuned and we will be discussing it in the tips and tricks section. Cho's first skill, Jeet Kune Do, lets Cho to deal a punch forward per cast of this skill. Upon using this skill, Cho will be punching and dashing towards the specified direction. You can still use this skill for 2 more times. The next cast will let Cho still launch his punch forward. Then, on the last cast, Cho will knock up the enemies in the area of effect. Every punch will deal damage to enemies along the way and in the area of effect. Cho's second skill, Shunpo, lets Cho dash forward, buffing him for a few moments. Upon using this skill, Cho dashes towards the specified direction. After the dash, Cho gains a shield that can absorb a certain amount of damage. He also increases his physical penetration stats after the dash. The shield and physical penetration boost lasts for 2 seconds. Another thing about the dash is, he is immune to crowd control effects during the dash. The cooldown of this skill resets when Cho's 3 punches from his first skill has been all released. We will show examples using this skill on the tips and tricks section. Cho's ultimate skill, the Way of Dragon, lets Cho release a roundhouse kick to knock back the target. Upon casting, the target will be knocked back and will be receiving certain amount of physical damage. This skill can be used again. Upon using it again, Cho will chase the knockback enemy in the air, and will let him release a fury of kicks that will deal certain points of physical damage. There are so many items that you can buy for Cho. You can focus on items that grants physical damage, physical penetration, movement speed, and items that grants defense and health points. For me, I choose to buy items that grants physical damage, physical penetration, movement speed, and items that grants defense and health points to Cho. We use different builds depending on the situation. But for us, we usually use the Kurumi way and the Tarzan build. If you prefer more into roaming, then you can consider buying a mask first. This item grants health points and cooldown reduction. One of its unique attributes grants additional movement speed. One of its unique passive, Deter, lets your basic attack mark an enemy hero you hit. When the mark is still on the enemy, and the target was attacked either by you or your teammate 5 times, the enemy will be stunned for a short period. This unique passive, Deter, has a long cooldown. Another unique passive of this item is Devotion. This grants you additional gold and experience every 4 seconds. But the catch is, You won't gain gold or experience when killing minions or monsters if a teammate is near you. This lets your teammates take all the gold and experience, serving your role as a support roaming hero. Another unique passive of this item is Thriving. This lets you gain extra experience and gold with every assist you make. When you are ranked 5th on the gold rank of your team, the gold granted by Deter is modified and you will now receive 20 gold every 4 seconds. Same goes with the experience granted by Deter every 4 seconds. You will be granted 35 experience per 4 seconds when you are the 5th rank in the experience or level department. You can consider buying Rapid Boots. Rapid Boots grants a massive amount of movement speed to your hero. Its unique passive will decrease your movement speed by 40 points when you deal damage or when you take damage. This effect lasts for 5 seconds. This is a really good item, especially if you prefer the roaming type of Cho. You might want to consider Blade of Despair. This item grants additional physical attack and movement speed. Its unique passive will give you additional physical attack when the target's health is below a certain percentage. The movement speed bonus can also help you chase enemies or escape death. Buying attack items, such as Endless Battle, can boost your damage effectively. This item gives you additional physical attack, health, mana regen, lifesteal, movement speed, and cooldown reduction. Its unique passive grants you additional true damage on your next basic attack after using a skill. Triggering the passive of this skill also grants you additional movement speed. With the cooldown reduction and its unique passive, Cho will be more explosive with this since you can cast lots of skill instances. You might want to consider Brute Force Breastplate. This item grants health points and physical defense. Its unique passive grants additional movement speed, physical defense, and magic defense for every skill cast or basic attack dealt. This effect can stack up to 5 times, and it lasts for a few seconds. You might also want to consider Hunter Strike. This item grants physical attack and cooldown reduction. Its unique attribute grants physical penetration. Its unique passive improves your movement speed when you have attacked an enemy 5 times in a row. This buff lasts for 3 seconds. This effect has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Lastly, you can consider Immortality. This grants you physical defense and health points. Its unique passive lets you resurrect after 2 seconds upon death. This resurrects you and give you 15% health points, and a shield that lasts for a few seconds. This item has a really long cooldown. The item build for Cho really depends on the enemy's lineup. So make sure to read each item's description so you can adapt in-game. One of the best spells to be used on Cho is Flicker. You can use it to escape danger, even death. You can use Flicker to either blink and then crowd control enemies or use this to escape death. In my opinion, you can use either Tank Emblem Set or Custom Assassin Emblem Set. Let's focus first on the Tank Emblem Set. We suggest this emblem set if you prefer to be more durable in team fights. Because our item build is more of physical defense, then we will focus on magic defense this time. Setting shield to max level will provide you magic defense. Higher magic defense means less magic damage to be received from enemies. Setting purity to max level will provide you magic defense also. Get Brave Smite to regenerate 5% of your maximum health points every time you crowd control an enemy. This has a cooldown of 10 seconds. But these are advisable if the enemies are also more of magic damage dealers. On the other hand, we suggest the Custom Assassin Emblem set if you prefer to deal more damage to the enemies. Custom Assassin Emblem could provide extra stats according to your needs as a damage-dealing fighter. Set agility to its max level because it can give you additional movement speed. Higher movement speed means higher chance to chase enemies or escape death. Setting invasion to max level will provide you physical penetration. Higher physical penetration means higher damage on your basic attacks and skills. Get high and dry to increase your damage to the target when he is the only nearby hero. This is advisable when you try ganking a single hero. But in case you are not that type, just consider Bounty Hunter instead. Set first skill to max level first. Prioritizing this makes the cooldown of this skill lower. That means you can cast this skill again as soon as possible. You can also prioritize second skill if your aim is to gain more physical penetration and shield. Always upgrade the ultimate skill when available for upgrading. As promised, let's tackle on Chao's passive skill. The distance of 8 yards is equivalent to this amount of distance in-game. Take note that this is just an equivalent in a straight direction, meaning you can still trigger his passive even when you move in circles. We also did a small experiment and counted how many steps is its equivalence. So let's try moving Cho forward and count how many steps needed to trigger his passive. As you noticed, he made at least 8 steps before his passive skill was triggered. The passive is triggered after 8 yards. So using his skills and flicker to travel distance is also considered. So it's also better to take note of the exact distance equivalence of 8 yards in-game. Chao's first skill is what you need to chase and crowd control enemies, with the ability to dash forward for 3 times while punching. This will let you deal damage to enemies while chasing them. The third cast instance of this skill is what makes Cho really good in team fights. Knocking enemies up will surely immobilize enemies for a short period, making your teammates hit them freely while the enemies are enjoying the fresh air above. But do take note that every instance of this skill lets you dash for a short distance only, meaning you can only pass through super thin walls. Chao's second skill is what makes you durable and immune to crowd control. With the ability to dash towards the specified direction, you can use this to escape death or chase enemies. You can also use this to do a clutch move to save yourself from dying because of the shield granted. Even if the shield absorption is quite small, it can still make a difference. Just like on this scenario, I could have died if I missed using my second skill in just a split second. This skill can also be used in combo with his first skill. You can use this skill again because your first skill can reset the cooldown of this skill instantly. Take a look on this scenario. I was able to save myself because I was able to use this skill twice. Walls. So this is actually quite useful in chasing down enemies or escaping death. For the crowd control immunity effect of the dash, we will show you some example scenarios. Today again, we have our favorite lab rat, Ratkatten. On this scenario, he is going to use Selena. Take a look as I just dash towards the abyssal arrows and won't get stunned at all. Now, we will be switching places with our lab rat to make him the hero of the day. Ratkatten will now be using Cho instead, and we will try to pull him using Kaya's ultimate skill. As you can see, Ratkatten was so pro on using the dash just on the right timing to counter Kaya's ultimate skill. That's a pro lab rat we got here. Well anyway, that's how amazing Chao's dash is. Chao's ultimate skill is what you need to lock down enemies, with the ability to knock back enemies and lock them mid-air with your fury kicks. This skill is usually used with the third instance of your first skill, your second skill, or flicker. These will make it easier for Cho to go behind the enemy. Then, you can now use your ultimate skill to knock the enemy towards your teammates, towards your turret, or away from the enemy turret. The target will just wish for a peaceful death instead of being tortured like this. The knockback distance depends on the time you press the second instance of this skill. The earlier you click this skill again, the shorter the knockback distance would be. So it's best to wait for a few moments before casting it again if you want to knock back the enemy farther. Aside from using this skill to lock down enemies for an easy kill, you can also use this skill to push away enemies chasing you to save you from their wrath. Just make sure you don't click it again because it might lead you to your death. In terms of his combo, we usually follow a simple combo. There are lots of combos you can formulate with Cho since he has lots of skill instances. But for the Kurumi way, this is what we usually cast in order. in terms of ganking is Cho. This is a combo we usually follow. First, we hide in the bush. Then, we cast our first skill twice to make sure that our next use of it will instantly knock up the target. Then, we go out the bush using our second skill. This will grant us shield and additional physical penetration stats. But you can also use flicker instead of your second skill. We just prefer second skill since this will help us deal more damage with the physical penetration boost. Then, we use his first skill to knock up the enemies. Then, we run behind the enemy and use our ultimate skill. This will knock the enemy farther from his safety. Then, use ultimate skill again to do some fury kicks to the target. If the target is still alive, you can use your basic attacks and second skill to chase down the target. Additional tip. Since you made it this far, we will let you know of this forbidden information. Recently, we tried using custom support emblem set with Cho. This really somehow fits our aim to be a roaming support Cho. With the high hybrid penetration, the damage we deal feels like we are still using the custom assassin emblem set. With the hybrid regeneration and health points granted, this also make us feel that we are durable. So, it's like a combination of custom tank and custom assassin emblem set. You can also try the Electro Flash from the custom marksman emblem set for a great movement speed boost. But you can just pretend you didn't hear or read anything I just said. Don't mind me. I'm just a random extraterrestrial creature passing by. The tips I mentioned are just some of the ways you can use Cho. This video just guides you on how to use Cho the Kurumi way. So, once again, this is Kurumi and that's how you use Cho. Thanks for watching. We also thank our lab rat, Rakuten, for showing us how to use Cho's dash properly. I hope he can be this pro using Cho on ranked games too. Do not forget to follow his account. And tell him how thankful we are for showing us that anything is possible if we just keep believing. Thank you, Rakuten. Do not forget to like and share this video. Also subscribe to our channel for more contents by clicking on the subscribe button below. For our skin giveaway events, check out our community tab in YouTube for the mechanics on how to join. See you on the next Mobile Legends Bootcamp. Cheers.